When you think of hard surface modeling, sci-fi design, and robotic design, a lot of artists come to mind, but lots of people agree that one of the most influential and one of the best artists in this field is Vitaly Bulgarov. Vitaly spent a lot of his time focused on this type of work, and he kept improving over time. And I'm sure you have seen lots of his work from video games, movies, or some giant robots. So in this video, I want to talk about more about this great artist, his work, his mentality, and how you can do what he does. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. But before we continue, I want to remind you guys that we are going through the Black Friday to Cyber Monday sale. So this is a great opportunity to get yourself some of the best add-ons, courses, shaders, you name it, especially on the Blender market, because they are having a big discount of up to 30%, and other developers even more than that. And if you don't know where to start, I have in the description of this video a list of the top Blender add-ons and courses that you will ever need. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. From a concept artist at Blizzard, to movies, to doing industrial design, Vitaly's career kept changing and evolving over time. Vitaly actually grew up in a doctor's family, and this in particular had a lot of effects on his career as a 3D artist, because he had access to medical anatomy books from a very young age, which helped him a lot later in his career. He developed also an interest in sci-fi, books, fantasy, and heavy metal. Something he said in an interview answering a question in this regard that it caught his attention. It was about how every artist's environment shapes him, and by that, shapes his style too. So as you can see, his background had a lot of influence on his career, because it taught him some fundamentals that he will be later on using to create amazing art. Now, going back to his early life, the first things he made were some maps and some mods for Half-Life, Quake 2, and maps for early Counter-Strike. And those models and maps and the technical drawings led him to get his first freelance job. And as he dove into the world of art, he saw a cinematic released by Blizzard from the game StarCraft 2, which caught his attention and made him want to work for the people who made that amazing cinematic. From there, he started doing freelance work for some US companies, and continued doing it for 3 or 4 years until he got an offer to move to the United States from Blizzard itself to work for them as a character artist. In his time with Blizzard, he worked on many projects such as StarCraft 2, Diablo 3, and the World of Warcraft franchise. He worked there as a concept artist in the cinematic department team, and those were the guys that brought us all of those beautiful and amazingly made cinematics and trailers. In his 4 years in Blizzard, his work as a concept artist consisted of doing 2D and 3D concepts, but as he put it himself, his 2D work or concept art wasn't the best, so he spent his free time trying to improve, until he was told to switch to work in 3D, since his 3D work was much better. The problem was that 3D is usually used for the final presentations to clients, not quick concepts, and since working in 3D tends to take a longer time than working in 2D, he needed to figure out a way to make it faster when working on concept art. To find a solution for his problem, he went on a sabbatical for 6 months to reinvent himself, which is something he will continue to do time and time again to a certain extent. He moved to Hawaii with his wife, and despite his usual working days being just 8 hours, he was spending 16 hours a day working on his quote-unquote vacation trying to improve. During his 6-month unpaid break, he would go to optimize everything he could about his workflow, and he got a new computer so his hardware wouldn't hold him back. He also dedicated some time for studies for specific models, and those would take him from a day or more just making parts for that model, and this experimentation pushed him to explore his limitation and discover what he truly was capable of. In the end, he developed a completely new work method that transformed how he approached his projects. While on a sabbatical, he got a call about an opportunity to work on Transformers, the movie. So he took that opportunity to apply everything he just learned, and he started testing himself. So he took 3 days, a whole day just for making parts, and 2 days to making characters. Although he never finished his sabbatical because he started working on Transformers, the dedication to improve by spending 6 months without any pay with the sole purpose of improving was just impressive. And returning from his past to Blizzard, he demonstrated a new side of him because his work was on a different level. In addition to that, he developed a new interest in movies and realistic designs, which was not exactly what Blizzard was doing at the time. After he stopped working for Blizzard and moving to ILM, he created robotic designs for different studios and worked on various projects and well-known movies including Transformers, Age of Extinction, RoboCop 2014, Terminator Genesis, Ghost in the Shell, and Alita the Battle Angel. The sabbatical that he did while working for Blizzard left a mark on him. And although he couldn't do another one, he still took 3 days a week to work on his own stuff. Vitaly would also make and share models that are still being used by various artists as part of his Black Phoenix projects. As he was getting tired from doing Transformers stuff, he got an email from the director of Intuitive Surgical about the ambulance mesh he did as part of the Black Phoenix project, and thus he got invited to see their surgical robots. The visit turned out to be a great collaboration, with both sides brainstorming and bouncing design ideas off each other. They shared their concepts, and the next day he came back with some designs which he created overnight. Seeing the results of his work and how it would benefit them in the long run, instead of making prototypes that would take resources and time, with Vitaly's, they could make their ideas come to life using his work. And this transition allowed him to not only explore a new field, but also contribute to something meaningful, for humanity in general. After moving from games and movies into industrial design, Vitaly has also worked on next-gen wearable products and Intel's new devices group, as well as surgical robotics at Intuitive Surgical. In addition, he consulted for big names like Boston Dynamics, Panasonic, Microsoft, and even worked on projects for the US military. In fact, Vitaly has changed his career multiple times, yet no matter where he went, he kept showing the same dedication to his work, and you can see that through his results. When asked in an interview about what motivated him, to make these changes, his answer was simple: interest and passion. He's always been driven by the desire to stay motivated, passionate, and even a bit obsessed with his work and what he was doing. For him, if he found a job that kept him really obsessed, he will go there. One of Vitaly's most impressive and challenging projects came from a call he received from a Korean group called Hancock Mary Technology, and they were working on a project known as Method 2. If you haven't heard of it, Method 2 is a prototype for a giant robot standing at a massive 4 meters tall. Vitaly spent considerable amount of time working on the robot's design, aiming to balance functionality with aesthetics, because it doesn't have only to look good, it has to work too, to a certain extent of course. When asked why they decided to make such a machine, the team simply said, "We chose to live in the future where people build giant robots rather than a future where they don't." The work on Method 2 gave Vitaly some new insight and experience, an experience that he later used when he returned to making movies like Alita the Battle Angel, Ghost in the Shell, and so on. And after being away from video games for a long time, his experience playing The Witcher 3 and Dark Souls gave him a fresh perspective on modern gaming. It reignited his passion for the medium, showing him how much games had evolved since he first started in the industry. This renewed interest in game development also helped him find balance, using games as a way to unwind from the intense burnout he faced from his demanding work schedule over the years. Currently, he's fully dedicated to the game studio called Symmetry, where he is a studio's co-director and co-founder. The studio is one behind critically acclaimed and award-winning game Mortal Shell, and his work and career path and contributions is actually a statement to his dedication to his work. The takeaway is, if he can do it through his hard work and dedication, you probably can do it too. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please leave a comment in the comment section down below if you want us to make videos like this in the future. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.